Ready, set, spaghetti.
Well, hello everyone. This is Braidwood and Viktoria.
Hello.
Hello. We are so excited to do this. You know, I've really been wanting to do something like this for a while, and just to tell some stories. So, welcome to our episode 1 of our podcast. What up?
What up?
And first, we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Braidwood Rathbone, and I'm living in Sydney, Australia at the moment. And this is
Viktoria. I'm from Germany, Hamburg. All the Germans out there. Yeah, and I'm now living here in Sydney too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move.
Yeah,
soon.
and so we're getting married very soon, actually in 5 weeks. You know what's 5 weeks?
Yes, I know.
40-something days like that. So we're currently in Sydney. We're moving to the Gold Coast real soon. But we have a very interesting life, and lots of crazy things have happened. Our story actually is what we want to talk about today. How we met and how it all came about, and all the little funny miracles and crazy stories that happened in between. Mm-hmm. So that's actually why we jumped on today. We want to share this with you and just hopefully encourage you and let you know a bit of what happened in our lives. So that's why we started this today. So anything you want to say?
Oh, I'm just excited.
Why are you excited?
It's fun.
Okay.
It's fun recording with you.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So this is the first one, so we've just got to practice.
Oh.
Yeah. But we're looking forward to doing more of these. Like, we really want to actually every second week or so be releasing content and just sharing. We feel like our lives can encourage a lot of people, and they're not very normal lives, and so it's be cool if you can get a look into the inside of everything that's happened in our lives. So today is called Our Story.
Amen.
A God story. And so we're going to share that now. So you might be wondering.
How did it start, honey?
You might be wondering, how did someone from Germany, Hamburg, Germany, and someone from Sydney, all the way from Sydney, meet each other? Well, the funny story is that we actually met in Africa, Tanzania. I went and studied in America, in Orlando, Florida. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. So if you don't love Jesus, or if you don't know Jesus, that's totally fine. We still want you to hear this. In fact, I'd love if you'd listen and just open your heart and open your mind to the story, because it's pretty crazy. So I went and studied at a mission school there, which is called CFAN Evangelism Boot Camp. And that took us all over the world. We started traveling to Africa, which I love so much. I mean, I'm missing Africa at the moment, but happy to be where we are, and got to learn some Swahili there in Tanzania. And so actually it was the second trip that I took to Tanzania. And I'll back up a little bit. The year before this trip, so in my family, I'm always the one that is single. I used to complain about it a lot. It actually became a joke in my family, where you would see these pictures from weddings. And there's one in particular that I'm thinking of. And all of my brothers and sisters have their partner. They have their...
What wedding was that?
It was actually my father's wedding,
okay.
My dad's wedding. And all of them are standing next to their partner. And then right in the middle is just Braid, all by himself, looking like a pencil. It's pretty hilarious. I don't think I've even showed you, but I'll have to show you.
Do you went to any time at that point?
I did not go to any time at that point, no. She's been joking. She's been teasing me because I have an Anytime Fitness membership, but I don't go. So I'm sure many people can relate.
But he looks huge.
But it looks huge anyway. So this was a joke. So it was coming up to Christmas time, like it is right now, actually. And I was just getting a bit frustrated. And I said to God, what is going on? Like, how long am I going to be single? I'm 27 or something at that point, 26, 27. And all I've wanted all my life is to be married. So maybe you might understand what that feels like out there. I know many young Christian guys are also in that position. And that's where I was for a long time. But the Lord spoke to me, and you might hear me say that from time to time on this podcast. And I'll have to explain that a bit more, I suppose. But basically, I hear God's voice. I believe that you can hear God's voice for yourself. I believe that's what the Bible teaches, and that Jesus is speaking through the Holy Spirit today. And so I heard, he said to me, by the end of next year, before next Christmas, you will no longer be alone, that you're going to meet your spouse, your wife. And so that was a word that God had given me, and it was somewhere in the back of my head. I wasn't really thinking about it, but then So, fast forward to this second trip that I went to, Tanzania. So this is September 2021. Is that
so
correct?
like 9 months after God spoke to you.
9 months after God spoke to me.
More
That's
like
correct.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I'm on this missions trip. We're working like crazy. There's like 7-day weeks. We're just working our butts off, just trying to get this crusade happening. We do large events, Christian events, evangelism, preaching over there. And this man came, right? This is the story. This man came who is a legend in the C-fan world. His name is Winfred Wentland. He has a book, actually.
Yeah.
Little plug for him. Little plug. We'll put it in the link below. It's called By Life or By Death. That's what it is? Mm-hmm. You can say it. What is it?
Wait, what is it? What is the book about?
No, what's it? Yeah, you tell us about the book if you want. Sidetrack.
Oh, we should at some point get my dad here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when they're coming all over. We'll have some videos coming up.
Okay,
yeah.
We got video ideas coming out.
No. Yeah, that was my dad. So, my dad works for Stephen, for super long. And I actually, so my March, April, around that time, I planned a trip to Israel with some friends from Germany. Wanted to see where Jesus lived and just had a good time. But COVID was still on and the borders in Israel was still shut in September. And we planned the trip for October. So, we had to rebook and cancel everything. And then my dad, he was still in Germany. He asked me if I want to join him for another Africa trip, which I did before. So I was keen on it. And I was like, okay, great. Sounds amazing.
Keen on it?
Keen on it. Yeah.
Okay.
Australian.
Very Australian language. Continue. Sorry.
So I rebooked my flight to Tanzania. And a couple of weeks after I was on that plane, it was actually my birthday. And then, I got there on a Sunday, the 3rd, October 3rd. And my dad and I were just celebrating a bit. We were at this beach club thing, Tanzania. Tanzania is amazing. And then if you go there, Dar es Salaam. But then even Kigamboni, it's you go with the ferry. The fun ferry.
The fun ferry.
And then Kigamboni is a really nice, isn't it an island?
No, it's it's a part of the mainland.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But it's
It feels like it,
Yeah,
actually.
it feels like an island. And there's a lot of beach clubs and stuff. So we went there, just had a good time in the sun. If you know my family, we love the sun. Probably more than any Australian.
Yeah.
So I was there. And then we left, late afternoon, I'd say. We went to the car, in the car park, and we wanted to go out. And then something happened.
So that day, like she said, they rolled up into the car park. And this was the moment, everyone. This is what you need to listen at. This is crazy. So I jumped on. I was flying down on a boda, which is like a local motorbike for any of you Tanzanians out there. And I flew into the car park, and there was Winfred's car was sitting there. This it was like a D-Max, Isuzu
okay.
D-Max, like a Hilux for all of you Australians out there. And so the car's sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh, it's Winfred's car. What's he doing here? I've been working with him. I walked over to the car, and the window rolled down, and there was Viktoria sitting there. And immediately, I remember the first thing I saw was Viktoria's eyes, those beautiful brown eyes, and she was just looking at me. But what happened was, there was seriously, a lightning bolt from heaven is what I like to call it. And it wasn't in the natural, I didn't see anything, but I got struck and I was frozen. And his voice again spoke to me, God's voice in my heart. And he said to me, I told you before the end of the year. And this was it was the Father's voice. But sometimes the Father's voice can be quite stern, quite heavy, quite sharp. And so I felt like he was saying it like that. It was almost like, don't question my word. Mm-hmm. My word is I told you before the end of the year. Don't question me. Don't rethink about it. Don't have a second thought. That's what I told you. That's what's going to happen. That's very much what it felt like. Mm-hmm. And so I knew immediately. I mean, I was very awkward. I didn't know what to say because I was just frozen with fear, the fear of God. And so I came over to Vicky. I think we just said...
Hello. I think my
Hello,
dad
how are
introduced
you?
us, actually. So my dad was pretty involved in all of this.
He was a good wingman.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just said hello. I was Viktoria, you were Braid.
Yeah. And so that was it.
Yeah.
It was pretty simple for the
yeah.
first part. So then I get back on my motorbike and I'm flying back home and I'm talking to God, flying back home. I'm talking to God about this, saying, what are you saying? Did I hear you correctly? Is that really what you said? Mm-hmm. And it just got more and more sure. Mm-hmm. But I said to him, if this is you, then you're going to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So there's a tip for all you dudes out there. Seek the Lord, seek his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things, these beautiful things will be added to you. Mm-hmm. That's really how it works. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened with us. So then...
for me, in that moment,
right,
I was just... Yeah. I'd say... Yeah, there wasn't like anything that incredible, crazy, I'd say. But it was like... I remember I was like, oh, he's a cute guy. Like... But... Like, for me, Stephen... And like being in Africa with my dad was... I don't know, there's a lot of people and I know most of them, or I thought I know most of them, but then like all this boot camp escaped, so like the whole crew was just joined by another 100 people. So I just didn't know who he really was and if he's working with us or not, or yeah, how we would see each other again. So I was like, oh, nice to meet him, like he's cute, but that's it. Like,
that was
in
it.
the first place, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. It was different.
Yeah.
And then, so that week, we just started getting a little more close because Vicky and I were both working at the field. My heart just got more and more involved. But I don't know, it kind of wasn't like an emotional thing at that point. Mm-hmm. It was just such a God thing. Like, I feel like the Lord spoke to me and I need to see this through. So then I think maybe a few days later, I come home to where we were staying. We were staying at this really cool beach house. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was Vicky's sunbaking, which I've learned is her favorite thing in the universe, is the sun. Yeah. S-U-N-N-S-O-N. Anyway, oh, you didn't get that one. So S-U-N-N-S-O-N, the sun. Jesus is the sun.
Oh, okay.
Man. So she's sunbaking, and I called out to her and said, do you want some lunch? Anyway, she came inside. That's probably not super important to share.
But I was like little moments in
little
that
moments.
week.
And then I would say the Friday night, we had like an all-in dinner. It was like 100 people there. The students that I'd gone to this school with were all there. And I didn't talk to any of them. I just wanted to talk to Viktoria because she was very beautiful and really cool and fun. So we played this game all night where we were flicking a bottle cap through each other's fingers.
And hit some other people
and stuff. And then on the Saturday, it'd gotten too much. Oh no, before that. Okay, so early on this week, this is 1 week by the way.
Oh, true.
I went up to Vicky and I said, no, well, oh man, we should have told that story.
And go for your story.
We're going to have to chop this up. There's too many stories. So another part of the story was... Little did Vicky know, in Africa you wear chitenge, which is like African printed clothes. They're all crazy colors and crazy patterns. And I had asked my former director, so he was like my boss, but we were really close friends, Randy Roberts, big shout out to you, brother. Thanks, bro. I'd asked him if I could match with him. Like I wanted to match with someone. I wanted to wear the same chitenge with somebody. But he said to me, you've got the wrong idea. That's what you do with your wife or your spouse or whatever.
Your family, yeah.
Your family or whatever. And I didn't really know that at the time. So then, yeah, he said, you're going to have to find someone like that to go with. And I'd asked like 5 people in my group if they wanted to match with me. Everyone was saying no. And then finally I messaged Vicky and I said, can we wear the same chitenge together? Do you want to match with me? And she goes, yeah, no worries, of course. So then straight away, I took a screenshot, I sent it to Randy, to this guy, and I said, bro, what is happening? Like, this girl wants to match with me. This must be on. Is this a sign? And it was crazy like that. So I knew again and again, it was just little confirmations that were happening for me. But I was going to say how I got her number before that.
True.
This is all during that week. I went up to her and said, can I have your number? And she goes, well, I'll give you my...
I thought I asked you why do you want my number?
Yeah, but... And then you said, well, I'll give you my my Tanzanian number.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, then that means I have to work for the German number. So that was, you can tell the story how you heard it.
I asked him why he wants my number. And then he said, like on a joke thing. And we were like more or less friends, I'd say. Or that was the relationship at that point. So he was like, oh yeah, like, I want to take you out or so. Like, something like that. So, but it was on a joke. So I was like, haha, fun. And then it was it. And then I said, okay, my Tanzanian number. And I would say, like a lot of those things, even with the Chitanga, it was like not like common for me doing those things, or like, or, I don't know, like I think that was again like just the Holy Spirit just like taking over and like just pushing you and saying like don't even think about it, like just say that, like because I wouldn't really give my number to a lot of people. Like I wouldn't really, I don't know why I really wanted to match with you. Like it was those moments where I didn't really, I would say, thought about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then our story's full of those little moments where God was just nudging us into it. Like it was such a God thing. It's just crazy. So I hope that encourages you all out there. So where were we up to? The
Friday
Saturday,
night.
the Friday, and then the Saturday night. So we met on Sunday before. This is less than a week later. So that was it for me. I went up to Vicky. I said, so the crusade is finishing. Everyone's leaving. There's 40,000 people there, and it's getting nuts. So Winfred knows that when this time comes, you get in your car and you leave as fast as you can before you get caught in all the traffic and the craziness. So he's calling out, Vicky, Vicky, across the field, Vicky. And then, so I'm like, that's it. This is my chance. I got 1 day left. If I don't say something now, I might never get to say it. So I went up, I grabbed Vicky. I said, by the way, before you leave, I need to talk to you. And I said, I'm just having feelings for you, and I believe God is saying something about this, and I really want to get to know you better. How do you feel about that? And she said, what did you say?
No, I was like, he was nervous, I'd say, like a little bit, which is fine, like, I get it. And I remember you said even like, oh, I don't want this to be weird, like, I don't want you to even feel pressured and stuff. Like you wanted to really just get it out there. And I was so glad about it. And that's what I said. Like, I was like, I'm so glad that you came like towards me and like said something, because there was like no question marks anymore. Like, and we just met in that week, but like, I couldn't stand the fact like of leaving Africa, or I was going to Kenya afterwards, but leaving Tanzania and then going to Germany. And like we're probably like texting, like probably having still like being in contact, but like is there like those questions of like, oh, what is it? Like, is it just for being nice and in contact? Like I met someone, or is it like something we're actually like going after?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I was just happy and glad that I was like so like no question marks, thank you and answer, and from there we can go.
And from that point on, the thing was just on. So this is 6 days in, you know, crazy. And so then we had the last night of the crusade. We wore matching jitenge. Insert photo now. Boom.
With this other girl.
Boom. No, there's
Misha.
So let's not talk about that. So then it gets to Monday, and I know she's leaving on Tuesday. And this is Monday. I'm leaving on Tuesday as well from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We're in Africa, in case you didn't catch that. And I knew I had to take her out on a date or see her. So, you know, what God put in my heart once again was actually to talk to her father about it. And so I was working with him on that Monday. He was packing up the truck and all the gear and everything. I went up to him, and I waited till the very last moment because I was pretty scared still of this man, even though he's super lovely, but I didn't really know that at the time. And I said to him, I go to him, so Winfred, before you go, there's something I really want to ask you. And he's like, yeah, what, Braid? What is it? And I'm like, so I really want to see Viktoria again. And he goes, oh, yeah, so is what he says. Just go and see her. And I'm like, no. Like, I'd really like to see her again. And he's like, oh, yeah, just send her a message. She didn't understand me. But then I said, no, I really want to like take her out on a date tonight. Is that possible? And he goes, oh, yeah, of course. No worries at all. And he was super happy about it and super nice. And I said, I want you to know my heart is pure. My intentions are pure. I just want what the Lord wants, and I'm just seeking Jesus. And so I want to take Vicky out. So he said, go for it. So then I went to my boss that night. He wanted to have a meeting, but I said, no, we're not having a meeting. I'm going on a date. So I got on a motorbike. I wore a new shirt, my white shoes. I had some sweet jeans on, I think. No, maybe those Lululemon pants. Shout out to Lululemon. I jumped on a motorbike. I fly up to this ferry, and I'm going across the ferry. And while I'm on the ferry, I'm texting all my other friends because they're in the city, right? And they always go out for dinner. I said, where are you going for dinner tonight? And my friends are like, well, nowhere. We're staying in the hotel. Why? Do you want to go out? I'm like, no. And I just wouldn't answer them anything. I texted another friend. I was like, are you eating dinner at the hotel tonight? She's like, yeah, why? Do you want to go out? And I just didn't reply to her because I didn't want to run into them for dinner. So then we went to dinner at this place, Shooter's Grill. And
yeah, actually, beautiful. Like the whole, like this whole day of yours, I didn't really get. Like I was out with other friends and we had a good time. So, and yet you asked me out, like, or if I have like time in the evening, if you want to, like, if I want to go out with you. But I didn't know of all the, like, that he talked to my dad, that my dad even knows. Like, I was getting ready and, like, thought no one really knows about this, which, yeah, it wasn't like a secret, but I just, like, yeah, I was still in the beginning. So I was like, I don't think anyone needs to know now. Like, yeah. So I was getting in that room. I was getting ready in that room. And I remember I was nervous a bit because I haven't been on a date for a long while. Also, like, English, like, everything was like a little, yeah, just things in my head. But then I was like praying and I was saying, God, if that's you and if that's your plan, like, you can make it work. Make it very obvious for the both of us. I think that's what I said. Like, if it's not from you, then make it obvious for the both of us. If it's from you, then do that. So yeah, we went on a date and it was beautiful. We went to this rooftop restaurant.
And then we went for a walk on the beach. Vicky really wanted to go for a walk on the beach. And again, like, this is what I mean about God just being in the middle of everything. Like, it's so amazing when God is like the center of your life and you're seeking what he wants for you, and you want what he wants because what he wants is actually the best thing for you and actually what you want, really, if you just give into it. That's what I've discovered through this journey. And so we went for this walk on the beach, and it was beautiful moonlight and everything. And I was like, at one point, I remember the Lord just, like, Vicky was standing there, we were talking, and he like nudged me just to put my arm around her, you know? Again, he was like, it's okay. You don't need to be scared. You don't need to be worried. Like, you're not getting into some thing you're going to have to back out of later, or all these fears, you know? God was so just like, it's okay. Like, just be natural.
He loves love.
He does love love, yeah. He does love love. Read Song of Songs. It's my favorite book. One of John's my favorite book. But so, and one John. So, yeah, at one point I put my arm around her. I remember we were talking, and like, the point for me that really sealed everything was, well, we remember it differently as far as I can tell. But I said to Vicky, what do you want to do with your life? What is your heart burn for? And she said, to my memory, yeah, she said, I want to do whatever Jesus wants me to do. But I remember her saying also, this, like what we've been doing this week, is part of what I want to do. And I love this life of following God. And even I remember you saying something about, I want to do what my parents did. Meaning, I think, was what you meant, was following Jesus and following his call. And so for me, that was it. I was just done. I was like, I'm in. Let's get married tomorrow. And we don't need to do anything else. Let's get this done. But that's classic Braid.
We
call him Mission Braid.
That's one of the 7.
Yeah,
there's 7.
You can explain that to you maybe. There's 7 braids in Braid's head, and they're always doing different things, but we'll get to that later. There's a few less today, I'd say.
Yeah.
Pretty solid braid. So that's our story up to that point. You know what I was just thinking? Maybe this can be part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 2 is like
We'll
what
do the second-
happened after.
Yeah. So that's our story of part 1, like how we met, how we got together, and yeah, we'll do another video about part 2. But I just really want to say, if I can, I love you, firstly, so much. I'm excited to marry you, and this is exciting. But yeah, if you want to see more of this stuff, let us know, please. Please like, please comment, please let's open up discussion. We really want to get more into this space. We feel it's where God's calling us to, just to share more of our lives. You know, we have some crazy stories, things that are so miraculous. Like, I mean, we'll talk about it in the coming videos, but God's power healing people's bodies, like getting flights that are impossible, having money that's impossible, all sorts of things that Jesus has done in our lives. And so I'm so excited to share more of that with you, because I would hate for it just to sit in the back of my mind somewhere and no one ever know about it, or it just forget about it, you know. And then we do this all for the glory of God and His name and what He wants to show us. So we're excited for that, to go on that journey with you. Please join us next time. Love you guys so much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you
We'll see you
next
soon.
episode.
Bye.
See that same Jesus, He lives in me. He's the name above all names, He's been exalted. You see, that means anxiety and